I decided you just stayed. Am I echoing? I'm not hearing an echo.
Oh, yay! Okay,
Yay!
there's something wrong with that, whatever that was.
It was just double monitoring for some reason.
Yeah, weird. Okay. Well, glad it's fixed now. Hopefully Nat won't be here in a second. I sent her the link to the room.
Thank you, everyone, for sticking around.
Yeah, thank you for coming back. All right. So take two. This is the Rough Report Live. I am reporting live from here in Ottawa. So is Nat when she joins us. Of course, Jessica is always in Hamilton over there. And lots has happened in the couple weeks and the week that we were off. Lots of crazy stuff. I suppose the first thing we should cover is the theater that we witnessed at the what is it, the Correspondents' Dinner?
Yeah, the White House Correspondents'
Dinner. Let's pull that up.
So fun. Watching the guy like Naruto run.
Oh, I don't even know which video to pull up here. Geez. Because I wasn't expecting to talk about this. I was like, just when we were in kind of the initial pre-show there, I was like, damn, I didn't even think of the White House Correspondents' Dinner just because there's so much other stuff.
Yeah, news never sleeps. So we gotta start. You gotta start. You guys out there, I appreciate the support, but you gotta start paying us.
Yeah, I know.
24/7.
I know. Oh,
shoot.
It would kind of help if I got the screen up there. Da.
It's okay. It's okay. We were prepared. We had to restart.
Yeah. Okay. So, new details on shots fired from White Correspondents' Dinner. White House Correspondents' Dinner. I don't know anything about this. What are these new details? Let's find out. When was this posted? CBS News.
A day.
Just yesterday. All right. Okay.
About what happened when an alleged gunman ran at full speed past Secret Service agents heading for the White House Correspondents' Dinner Saturday. Sources tell CBS News a shot fired by the suspect may have hit a cell phone in the pocket of a Secret Service agent's bulletproof vest. Wow.
CBS
News Homeland Security
He
correspondent.
has a Bible app on that cell phone. That's why.
They didn't really know if the suspect had fired a weapon that hit the agent, but how clear this up for us?
We still don't know. It says may.
Wait, cell phones are bulletproof?
Okay, well, he was also wearing a bulletproof vest, so it doesn't even matter. But also, it literally says may have hit. So we still don't know.
Yeah, how do you not know that? That's so weird. Why is there so much mystery around this? I think we can take a few guesses.
Yeah, we've been talking with law enforcement sources really since this happened, and our understanding is that there were just 5 rounds fired from one uniformed division officer as the suspect was approaching and ran through the magnetometer. He only made it about 20 feet into the security perimeter before he sort of tripped, fell, and then
he made it. It just zipped past all those Secret Service people.
I also
how?
This is gonna be my hot take. I don't think it's conspiracy. I have no problem with the conspiracies. I think they're great to have conspiracies on the left side. I think it's good for making jokes about these news reports and how ridiculous they are and how they're, So I have no problem conspiracy theorize. I think it actually happened and this guy was just a dumbass. But I also think we got to stop mythologizing the Secret Service. They're still Americans. They're still working under this regime. Maybe they are just that incompetent, the entire apparatus.
You can't rule it out. You can't rule it out.
I don't think, when I think Secret Service, I think of, movies, which we know how they mythologize the police, and the police don't do their jobs either. So, I'm, looking at the Secret Service, I'm like, no, that seems glorified bodyguards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfectly possible. The one thing that gets me is just, the convenience of course, him coming up, in the immediate aftermath of this, doesn't seem that shaken up by it at all. But then again, that implies that Trump has some sort of
I think he has
emotional
dementia.
awareness.
He doesn't know where he
Yeah,
is.
exactly. Yeah. So,
I do think
there's a little bit of a balance there. Like,
I think
you
it
don't
really
know.
happens,
Yeah.
but I think a lot of
But
the
the
things
ballroom
around
thing was
it
just so perfectly like I guess, if we were to try to meet the middle ground between what both of us are implying here is that maybe security was a little laxed on purpose, hoping for something a little
I even think,
sketchy to
like,
happen.
whenever there's a conspiracy theory, there's conspiracy around it, real conspiracy, right?
Yeah.
And I think
There's always something. Yeah.
yeah, and I think the real conspiracy here is how they saved JD Vance first. I think that's the conspiracy
That's
part.
really funny. Yeah.
I think that's the one. It's like they knew. It's
I
like they
wonder
were
if I
like,
can find that.
yeah, so I think that's probably in their protocol. They're like, if Trump gets assassinated, that actually is
Yeah, okay, we got video right here.
let's
Okay.
save JD Vance. Yeah. That's
Because
what I
you
think.
can plainly see these guys go for JD Vance first and get him off the stage first. Like that is plain as day. And then like Donald Trump immediately like collapsing to the ground right after.
He didn't fall. He didn't fall.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? That's
He
just what they
clearly did.
do.
I mean, like
Strategic.
you could stipulate like he fell because he's all like old and dementia addled. You could say he just fell because being rushed off by a bunch of people might make anybody trip. I mean, like there's a little bit of plausible deniability there, but to go to immediately like, oh, he didn't fall at all, like that, you didn't see what you saw, like that's sort of bizarre. So, yeah, here it is from the beginning. So JD Vance is off stage, and there's Donald Trump right there. And then, like, these guys just sort of standing around looking at each other. The way that guy sort of climbs over the thing, that's so awkward and weird looking. Like,
well, that's the thing.
And down he goes.
None of these people are trained. Like, they don't know what to do. My favorite was when they cart off RFK Jr.
Yeah.
And then his wife is like behind the
Yeah,
Secret
yeah.
Service, like scuttling
like,
up. Or Steve Miller using his like pregnant wife as a human shield in front of him. Like these people, they're like they. It's just like this is one reason I do think it's real. When real tragedy strikes, they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And the realness of it comes out. Like if it was staged,
like, don't they do
why would
drills? Isn't there like exercises for this? Like, what do they do normally to prepare for these situations?
They don't prepare for shit.
I would think like, because like, there's always a lot of assassination attempts or assassination attempt like warnings that come up.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
apparently,
Obama had like
Obama had
12 or
dozens of them.
13, yeah.
So like you think they're constantly like gaming this out, right? Like they're doing like contingency plans, they're doing exercises, they're doing drills. This isn't that typical procedure for any type of policing, whether it be regular street cops or Secret Service. Isn't that something they do?
Oh, Nat, sorry, Jimmy said he sent you the link.
Yeah, it should be in your box.
You are invited back. You're much welcome back.
I thought I sent it to you, although Facebook chat is being weird. It's
Everything's
not like loading.
being weird.
Yeah, it's not like loading for me. I sent you the link though.
Anyway, this is the reason that I believe that it's real, because like if it was faked, why wouldn't they use that time to like show what valiant men they are protecting their wives or something, at least getting good clips of them out of it. All they did was get bad clips of them being
These are the people that would like push past the women and the children on the Titanic.
He did that though. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying they were genuinely probably terrified.
Yeah.
And I feel like, Trump's first truth that he did when it happened, because I was watching it live, so it was kind of crazy. But when it happened, he did a truth right after, and he's basically like, well, the show will go on, but if it doesn't, it's because law enforcement said so. And I was just like, okay, so he knows that, like, I feel like he's probably scared to go back out and do the whole dinner thing. So he's like coaxing law enforcement to cancel it. Like, I felt like that was like, he was just like, I'll do it. But, so like, right away, I was like, oh, it's canceled. Like, that's.
Yeah, you would think.
And it was, like they just kept saying it was going to go on. I feel like they did want it to go on, but Trump was like, mm-mm.
Yeah. I mean, like that seems like a normal thing to do, right? Like if something like that happens, you just kind of throw in the towel and call it a day. But I feel like that's lucky for them because, like, imagine if it just went off. What footage we would be watching right now about what a pathetic, sad show the entire thing is. Like, I think their top entertainer was like a mentalist.
Oh yeah, the mentalist. Yeah.
Like why?
He was up there doing the thing when it happened too.
Oh, really?
He was talking to Melania. He's the one with the cards. Yeah.
But what's really funny is, like, again, it implies Trump has situational awareness, and this is going back a few years, but this video here, there's Nat. Okay, we got you back.
So lonely.
Yeah, I had to like refresh.
Sorry, I trusted Jimmy again. My bad.
Yeah, like I sent you the link like 3 times and it just wasn't going through. So I refreshed the window and opened it back up, and yeah, nothing was there. So I sent it again. But yeah, this was Trump a few years back when someone in the audience yells out "Allahu Akbar." And watch how quickly he reacts, because this is definitely not something he was expecting.
The president, I guess I have to do it myself. I know.
Oh, you don't have it on the screen, maybe.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
No
there we go. So here it is.
The president, I guess I have to do it myself. I know.
He really sprang into reaction there. Now, mind you, again, this is a few years ago. His brain isn't as soupy as it is now.
Also, he didn't spring into action. Like, he freaked out and looked around.
Yeah, he did. Like, he looked panicked. I mean, spring into action as in he had a reaction.
Which I feel, that was his fall during this one. He panicked and his feet stopped working. He just doesn't. He can't.
Yeah.
Move when he's panicked.
But also, like, I feel like they absolutely, like, I don't think that they set the guy up. I think that they were aware that it was going to happen. They let it happen because with Trump sundowning so much, I don't think that they could afford to, even as the event was boring, I don't think they could afford to have him that public for that long.
Yeah, like, because typically at these things, like, at the end of it, after, the press roasts the president and the administration, usually at the end of it, the president goes up and has his, like, kind of final hurrah, right? And yeah.
And like lately, you notice that basically they bring him out late for any speeches, and then they whisk him away when he's done. And so I suspect that what they're doing is basically drugging him with uppers.
Yeah, there were several conveniences. Like, I'm with Jess in that, like, I believe that this is a thing that sort of happened organically.
Yeah.
But also there's all these conveniences where it's like, okay, like, it's like they would know at an event like this, there's probably shady people who want to attempt something.
Yeah.
So if we just relax security a little bit, maybe we're not as tight as we should be. Like, maybe there's some sort of balance between the two stories here.
Yeah, I think it's probably like, we're keeping an eye on any messaging around this. And if we see person A, B, or C show up, they're a non-threat, just whatever.
And,
flag them through.
And of course, the if you were watching like the Daily Show in the aftermath of this, you saw the supercuts of all the correspondents and all the talking heads going.
Oh my god, I got so mad. Like, fake capper over here being like, "Oh, it was real," and all this stuff, and I'm like, children have to deal with that every day in your country. I don't know if you know this, exactly. I don't know if you're aware.
Yeah. Well, and like the number of like
death in America for children.
Republicans and all too sympathetic Democrats alike all going, now is not the time for political violence. Well, why do you guys use it all the fucking time then? Why are you bombing kids? Like, if it's never if violence is never the answer, you guys sure love using it all the fucking time. Like, what is it? Those citizens in Minnesota wouldn't be dead. Like,
they do the same thing with free speech though, right? Like, every time they're like, I can say slurs because free speech, but also we're gonna push a Hassan Piker Congress bill or
like a resolution to condemn Hassan Piker, a Twitch streamer.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you want to talk about the conveniences of being like, talking out of both sides of your mouth with free speech. Look no further. Comedy's legal again, folks. Right? But you got the FCC threatening ABC's license as Trump calls for Kimmel's fire.
I am so happy he didn't back down.
Yeah.
I am so fucking happy.
I'm happy to criticize a lot of these very liberal late night guys for a number of things that they, promote or play apologetics for and stuff like that. But a staple of what these guys have always done, and it's always been a good thing, is roasting whatever the administration is, right? They roasted Obama all the time. Maybe they didn't do it as hard because, let's be honest, there wasn't as much rich material to deal with.
He wore a beige suit.
Yeah, he wore a beige
not
suit.
Remember?
Yeah. Kimmel has a lot of good positions, but at the end of the day, like he's going to be. He's not like guys like this aren't going to really step too far out of the line of what the Democrat party line is, and I don't expect them to. Nobody should. Everybody should kind of have that sort of, I guess, cognition of what their position is in the media landscape and who they're going to promote and who they're not. And
Kimmel is pro healthcare because his I think he had like a baby that was born prematurely or something, or that was very special needs. So like it's because it affects him. He's pro healthcare.
Yeah.
Like some people need that experience.
Yeah. And like, and as far as I've seen, to his credit, he wasn't one of those establishment type people, slandering the Bernie bros all the time in favor of boosting Hillary Clinton, right? Yeah. But he wasn't exactly super critical of Hillary or Kamala Harris. None of these guys were. No. They kind of played cover for Kamala Harris during her campaign, despite all the things that she was doing wrong with it. And it's kind of a funny thing on Threads today. The Meta clone of Twitter. It's been like a wave of past couple days of people relitigating 2016, blaming the Bernie bros for Hillary's loss, and then of course blaming, and then in turn blaming them for Kamala's loss, like having zero reflection of, hey, if you just put up a little bit of policy that we like, you'll get the votes. But it's everybody else's fault for not voting for them, as if they're entitled to those votes. Yeah. And I'm so afraid that like the more and more they're hammering on this all the time, they're not going to learn a thing, quite purposefully so. We're going to get somebody like fucking Josh Shapiro or Gavin Newsom at the top of the ticket. Yep. And
even though everyone said right now, like all the leftists were like, we're not voting for Gavin Newsom, and they're like, oh, so it's your guys' fault if the Republicans win again. It's like, what?
Yeah. Like no, earn the votes, guys. Like you're not beating the allegations that you love losing when you keep.
Well, it's like they're not releasing.
Made you lose.
They're not releasing like the what's it called? The investigation or whatever it was they went into why Kamala lost.
Yeah.
They're not releasing it. And it's like, we know why.
Yeah, exactly. Like
everything we said was right.
Yeah. Like even if because the majority of people who were kind of verbally saying that they were never going to vote for Kamala or they were really didn't want to, the majority of them bit their tongue and did. And if you took all the people that voted third party and added it to Kamala's votes, it still doesn't have her win. So you can't blame them either. And the Democrats certainly won't blame themselves for falling short of Biden's presidency. He simply did not do enough and did the things he said he was going to do and make meaningful gains for the working class people that made them want to vote Democrat again. They found themselves in the same position over again, and here came Trump making lofty promises, and in their moment of desperation, a lot of them said, you know what, I may not like Trump, but he is saying these things that is speaking to me in a way Democrats are not.
The Democrats failed so bad. They let Trump run as the anti-war president.
Yeah.
That's how bad they failed.
And not only after the disaster that was the 2016 to 2020 Trump presidency, how bad everything was, the material things you could look at and how bad everything went, and they had him win again. And Democrats can't look at themselves and consider that a failure amongst themselves that they allowed this to happen. Just zero self-reflection, zero.
And zero shame. Like, I would be so embarrassed, I would quit on the spot.
Yeah.
Right?
It is
I would be like, I would actually do a I can't remember what they called of the Kamala campaign, if they called an autopsy or what.
Oh yeah, the autopsy.
But I would absolutely want to investigate the election fraud claims. Right?
I definitely think some shady shit. Just think that was a clean election. Yeah, but the thing is, again, because Democrats love losing,
I know
they didn't do anything to turn over any stones. Like they didn't investigate shit. But then you have guys like Trump in 2020 who you just wouldn't let go of the voter fraud thing, even though there was no evidence. He bid onto it.
He did a whole coup.
Yeah. January 6th happened. But then the Democrats could be in a very reasonable position to make those claims and do an investigation. And they just
rather not.
No, the shadiest freaking guy in history won. And you're not going to think twice about this, especially with the amount of investment like Elon Musk had in the matter, the muddying of the waters in terms of how the electronic voting was going, and how unstable everybody knows that potentially is. I mean, that was a thing Trump was complaining about when he was trying to make the claims of voter fraud, right?
Yeah.
But then conveniently, nobody wanted to look into that. It's a little too convenient. So the fact that there are a lot of people who are like, you know what, I don't feel like the Democrats are really trying. Well, do they have any reason to believe otherwise?
Yeah, prove they are at any point. Balls in your court.
I mean, a lot of the Democrats still aren't the established Democrats still aren't anytime a progressive is winning in their riding, they still don't support them.
No.
Yeah.
A lot of them still don't even support Mom Donnie in New York. And he was literally elected
and he's doing
numbers.
Great fucking things. Yeah.
Well, it's because they don't want to do things.
I know.
Yeah. They certainly want to do things, kind of shifting towards Canada here, but it's still all part of the big neoliberal hegemonic movement that we're seeing on a worldwide scale, which people seem to get confused when I say neoliberal, especially some of the maybe more dumb right-wingers out there. When we say neoliberal, it isn't liberal in the sense that you're thinking it is. It's actually quite a conservative mindset and involves just giving increased power to businesses and private interests. It's a further consolidation of capitalism towards privatization. And that both Democrats, Canadian liberals, British liberals, all of them and their conservative counterparts are part of this hegemony. They're all kind of after the same thing. They just have maybe slightly different ways of going about it. So we got Carney doing the Sovereign Wealth Fund, which some other countries have those. He, in his kind of selling of this to the Canadian public, was referencing Norway's Sovereign Wealth Fund. But how he's doing it is not a kind of democratic socialist or socialist democrat, however you want to put it, way. He's doing it in the neoliberal way. This is a giant wealth transfer to private interests. This is sovereign fund that's going to build infrastructure and is going to go into private coffers for private interests, as opposed to something that's an investment fund for the Canadian people. So I got a clip here of Avi Lewis talking a bit about this, and I think he covers it quite well.
Okay, wait 1 second.
by
Sorry.
saying
Oh,
that,
wait, sorry.
I guess I'll
Before I just wanted to say I talked to my father-in-law
Avi
about
Lewis.
Avi Lewis,
Yeah.
and he was like, "I heard he's radical left," and I was like, "No, you'll like him. It's
I mean,
fine."
radical as far as, you know, right-wing neoliberals being the entire
Okay,
establishment,
my
I guess,
father-in-law,
by comparison.
he thought Trump would be good because Trump's a businessman, right? And
Yeah.
now he recognizes Trump was bad. When
Yeah.
Biden was one, he was like, Biden's like a leftist. I kept saying, no, Biden's not a leftist. He is not on the left at all, actually. He's
Yeah.
not, like, you know. And then he was like, no. And now he recognized that Biden wasn't a leftist. So every time I'm right and he like sees it afterwards and he still doesn't believe me. So I told him to do his own research. So we'll see next time I talk to him.
Yeah, doing people doing their own research has some fascinating results.
I know.
But yeah, Avi here breaking it down for us. I think he says most of the things that I would say. So here he is.
shock everyone by saying that privatization doesn't benefit the public purse, except in the short term. In the long term, it can be a risk to safety, especially in essential infrastructure like airports. Workers always pay the price in privatization schemes, and the public always ends up paying more in the end. Whether it's privatization of garbage or privatization of parking meters, history is littered with examples of the failures of privatization. And this is a potentially a very costly and dangerous plan for short-term revenues that remove accountability for some of the most important pieces of critical infrastructure in Canada. We're absolutely opposed.
Just on a follow-up to that, when you're talking about those revenues, the government is signaling their intention to use those revenues as a part of their way to finance their sovereign wealth fund. So do you think that's how they should be going about
The
it?
proposal is getting worse and worse as you describe the details.
Absolutely.
The sovereign wealth fund.
Like, that's such a good way of putting it, because like you hear sovereign wealth fund and and maybe people who have heard of this concept before, thinking of the Nordic model and that sort of thing, go, oh, good. But then, yeah, as every detail is revealed, you're like, oh.
Also, let's recognize the Nordic model is slowly failing over time. Like, what the Nordic model was years ago is not what it is now anyway. It's not.
Well, like, and this is the fundamental
because of
problem.
privatization.
Yeah, exactly. It's the fundamental problem that like a lot of us annoying leftists and communists and all that talk about is the problem with democratic socialism, as good as it can be for the people in a progressive way, like, you know, trying to distance itself from, say, laissez-faire capitalism and neoliberalism and stuff like that. It can only sustain itself in that hegemony for so long. There is an inherent contradiction when you're talking about taking care of the working class in a material beneficial way versus capitalism. You can try and negotiate with capitalism as much as you want, but it can only sustain itself that way for so long. And yeah, as you say, you know, the global hegemony and stuff like that eventually is going to eat away at that unless the global hegemony becomes more anti-capital. And as it's becoming more and more aggressively capital in the death throes of late stage capitalism, the countries that are trying to balance it and do this sort of like, you know, best of both worlds, so to speak, thing, they're going to falter.
And the models of sovereign wealth funds that the Prime Minister has been referencing, like Norway, are the complete opposite of the sovereign wealth fund that he's actually proposing for Canada. He's talking about selling public assets to put public money into a fund that is going to subsidize profitable private projects that are done in the so-called national interest, as opposed to taking a fair level of taxation, as Norway has, from finite resources and creating a fund over time that supports our social safety net and that supports a transition away from fossil fuels. There's just like the invocation of Norway is an indictment of the Prime Minister's way of doing this plan. And I don't know why he chooses to reference it, because the Norwegian Sovereign Wealth Fund is exactly how it ought to be done. And the Sovereign Wealth Fund proposed this week in Ottawa will be yet another subsidy for already profitable corporations. I guess I'll
Yeah. Yeah. Perfectly said. Yeah. Just funneling money to private interests through public coffers under the guise of, yeah, it's going to build this infrastructure. But yeah, like when you're giving it to private corporations, that is not going in the pockets of the workers. That is going in the pockets of the capitalist owner class. Maybe great that we get some housing out of it, some roads and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But at an exuberantly higher cost because it's padding the pockets of the rich.
Mhm.
And what are we doing? It's and like the more I learn about Carney, the worse it gets. Like he is I found repeatedly sort of belligerent towards indigenous people.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm. But that's been a common trope of the Liberal Party for like decades.
Well, like just
so-
the entire Canadian system.
Yeah.
But like at least in some sense, Trudeau seemed like he really wanted to, at the very least,
Yeah,
pay
he
lip service.
spent millions on the reconciliation thing.
Yeah,
he did
yeah.
nothing about. Yeah.
Yeah. Like he did at least
He
some
did the
showy
theater.
stuff about it.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I feel like when it comes to Carney, the like just classic belligerence towards these people. Like for example, latest example, that big tent, the big tent. He's got such a big tent that he's invited straight up fascists into it. And Gladue seeks to strip. I'm going to mispronounce that. I should have listened to a pronunciation guide on how to say this indigenous name. But they want to remove the indigenous name from the riding just as a symbolic gesture of white supremacy. Like what like what?
Really.
Who is this for? Who is this for? Other than to say, like, just to spit in the eye of indigenous people that little bit more. To be like, you know what, your name doesn't even belong here. You know, and this is something that, of course, Carney is going to completely be okay with. Right? It's not like he's going to tell her to stop doing it.
Yeah, it's not even on his radar.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't give a shit at all. What is it? He shut down that protester last week there.
Oh yeah. That was gross. Yeah.
Oh, I can outlast her. And like the number of like just libby lib apologists that were being like, he didn't even know what she was yelling about. Yeah, that's why you don't say something as fucking rude as I can outlast her. That is not something a person in a position of leadership should say to a protester, especially when you don't know what it is they're protesting. Why would you do that?
There's a million circumstances which that could be misconstrued. If this was an elder person,
it's tactless.
Like, I could outlast you. If this was there's a million things. If you say I will outlast you, that comes off like as evil.
Yeah. And then, of course, when that happened was when I learned for the first time his dad ran a residential school.
Oh, yeah.
And like, of course, you can hear the liberal apologists going, well, the sins of the father. They're not the sins of the son. You can't necessarily say his dad being running a residential school.
But that would require Carney to have done anything to
exactly
say that. Like
the fact that
he
hasn't really spoken to it at all. Like you can't be raised in that sort of white supremacist structure, atmosphere, household.
Yeah.
And then not speak anything to it at all and expect people to think that, the culture of that hasn't rubbed off on you. Because even for people whose dads did not run residential schools, there is that deep-seated white supremacy against the indigenous that is woven through nearly all Canadians in a way that a lot of us refuse to look at and deconstruct, right?
If your dad was a Nazi, and I never heard you speak about Nazis for years, and then I saw that your dad was a Nazi, I would have questions. Like, I would be like...
Like, my first answer would be like, I don't talk about my dad because I killed him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like if you don't come out of the gates being like, yeah, my dad sucked
Yeah.
because he was a Nazi.
Yeah.
If you just don't say anything at all, yeah, that's pretty suspicious. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's a bad thing for a leader of a country to
Like we
not
just had
recognize.
Trudeau who did blackface on the regular. Come on.
Well, to be fair, I don't know how
Brown
regular it was. I don't know how regular it was, but he did it
like
nonetheless.
4 or 5 times.
Oh, really?
Multiple
It was that
events.
many?
Like
I thought
something
it was
like less
maybe
than a handful,
twice.
I think, but
Oh
like
my
more
God.
than 2.
It just gets worse. Oh my God. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know he did it that often. That is so fucked.
It was his go-to costume. So any costume parties, he was like,
Oh
"Oh,
man. Oh God. You know what it reminds me of what we rewatched last night, and there's several parts of it that did not age well. Life of Brian.
oh God."
And
Yeah,
right
we were
up,
watching. We're like,
yeah, we were watching Monty Python's Life of Brian last night. And the first scene with the 3 wise men,
oh,
one of them is in blackface.
They do that a lot. Like
And it's
old
just like
Monty Python.
to an extent you'd be like, it's the 1970s, but it's like, okay, but the 1970s were chronologically closer to minstrel shows. So like the less chronological removal of that can theoretically make it worse. It's like, yeah, like you guys were raised when blackface was still happening and nobody thought that it was weird. In fact, you in your adult life continued to do it. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I still love Monty Python though. I can't help it.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
And then
An
there's
institution.
the scene where the one character comes out as trans.
Yeah.
And says, I want to be called Loretta. And at first, the other people with her are like, like mocking her, But to the movie's credit, at the end, they do just call her Loretta without a fuss. So, a little bit of credit.
And there was a lot of
guess.
like pro-trans media in like the 70s and 80s. I'm sorry. And like the fact that like people like act like trans is like new.
Well, and also like one of the things parts of Canadian media that will never stop being so conflicting about the message versus their choices is Better Than Chocolate. And one of the main characters is a trans woman. She does burlesque kind of things. Anyway, there's like a queer show like showcase. There we go. There's like a queer showcase that happens in one of the clubs on the regular, and so she sings. And so like she doesn't she doesn't strip or she doesn't do drag, but the point of her song is I'm not a fucking drag queen. But the part is played by a cis man. So it's like you got that far and you could just go that extra inch.
In theory, I would love the idea that if we could get back to when actors were actors and any actor can play any role, but when we haven't done the historical background work to actually recognize why things are the way they are and actually reconcile that, you'll never get back to it.
Well,
you'll never get back to it.
But like, trans women are actors and they need
Yeah. Exactly. Well, we're getting like a bit off topic here, but I recently heard what is it? Hunter Schafer is being considered for Mystique.
That would be cool.
And yeah, I think she fits the role very well. And especially when you're talking about like the metaphor behind shapeshifters and stuff, I've already seen in that rumor mill trans women replying going, hey, come on, like we got to do this. What are you talking about? It's too perfect. And but the fact that you're having a trans woman play a cis role, I think cool. Let's do that. Absolutely. Because that's one more step towards the progress where finally, maybe years down the line, after we all become a little bit more woke, maybe we can get to a point where cis men can play trans roles again and we can, respect it. But I don't think we're there.
But we
I don't
still
think
won't
we're
respect
there.
Jared Leto.
Well, no, fuck Jared Leto. But I was gonna say, like along with the actors being actors, until we're writing more inclusive roles as well, it's still not gonna be like. Then you're just leaving it, so it's like, yeah, like obviously, if you know a trans woman is gonna play a cis woman, like that's different than a cis woman playing a trans woman or something.
100%,
because there's not enough roles. And this is why I had beef with Peter Dinklage. Okay, if you're a Peter Dinklage fan, I apologize, but he cuts roles for other little people. I don't know what the correct terminology is.
So far
anymore.
as I'm aware, the terminology is little people.
Okay, I wasn't sure if anything's changed in 10
so.
years. I wanted to be respectful, but yeah. So he strips roles for them. So yeah.
And so okay, so the next topic I want to get into, we're going to get into American stuff here. Well,
America.
You can already see it. You can already see it. The preview down there. Erika Kirk has decided to do some Sarah Connor and Terminator 2 cosplay.
New Halloween costume just dropped.
Yeah.
She's doing some Janet Jackson Rhythm Nation shit here.
I feel like, there's a little bit of like bad taste / hilarious foreshadowing in the fact that you probably can't see it in this image here, maybe a little bit, but she's wearing a hat that says freedom in the same lettering that Charlie Kirk was wearing when he was shot and killed. And it's just like, if she caught a bullet wearing that, you know what I'm saying?
What does the poster say?
May Charlie be received into the merciful arms of Jesus, our loving Savior. I almost like I personally, whatever your belief is, I don't believe there's an afterlife. I almost wish there was, though, because I would love Charlie to see how everyone treated his death and just memified him, and just I would love for him to have seen that.
Like, does she put effort into looking demonic? Like, she's got it, right? Like, is there some secret thing? Like, doesn't she have any PR people around her going, "Hey, Erika, maybe don't do the crazy eyes"?
Her eyes look like those people that get the eye color transplants.
Yeah.
Have you seen those? That's what her eyes
terrifying,
look like. Yeah. She wasn't naturally blue-eyed.
Yeah.
Had to give it to her.
She's got like the blue tattooed on or something like that. Yeah. So yeah, I actually haven't watched this full clip. So let's get into this.
Have attempted to dehumanize me, and I wanted to meet some of them face to face, quite frankly. Why have a conversation about me when you can have a conversation with me?
Because you suck. Why would anyone want to talk with you? You're deeply unpleasant.
Yeah, and not interesting.
Did she want to come on my podcast? Totally bombed.
Yeah, right. And I like that. Like, I wonder how okay she is with this continuation of Charlie Kirk's widow, that being her title moving forward. Like, is that something that like she's just like, yeah, I want that to be my Chiron caption forever into the future.
Oh yeah,
I'm just somebody's widow.
I think that works
great for her. Unleashed on journalists. They're so dramatic. Unleashed. She just unleashed it.
Yeah, that was The Mentalist.
Yeah, I was wondering. I honestly thought it was a waiter taking their order. Like, I didn't know what was happening.
I just want to go find
be home with your children, you psycho.
Like, where are
your kids?
You know what? The untold numbers of people currently being abused in ICE facilities just want to go home too, Erika. I don't give a fuck about you.
Again, there's children.
Yeah, children.
In schools. Dealing with this every day.
Yeah, where she slammed the media. Oh, she took that media and she just fucking body slammed it.
Like Hulk Hogan.
Yeah. was to meet the journalists who dehumanize her. Most of the journalists that are anti-Trump did not go. A lot of them weren't fucking there. I think there
Like
were
security
some, like,
kept out those journalists.
yeah. Well, a lot of them were just like, "Fuck that, I'm not going."
Yeah.
You
Why
know?
would you? Yeah.
Yeah, why would you? Continued to blasted them, just
For
fucking
journalists taking video.
obliterated, destroyed,
Journalists
blasted,
doing journalism.
slammed.
Is,
Journalism.
yeah.
Man, for people who really want to tone down the violence, they sure love the intrinsically
Rhetoric.
violent rhetoric. Yeah.
If you were in that room, you had no way of knowing what the status of the shooter was, how many there were, or honestly, really anything. It was just utter chaos.
Wow, it would have been great if like security was tight or something. I don't know.
So during an active shooting, these journalists are using their phones to find moments to capture for clips. They're
That's
so
what
concerned
journalists
about
do.
Yeah, that's literally their fucking job.
Journalists go to like war zones to take clips
Yeah.
in active war zones.
You know, like
welcome to Earth.
Those photographers, those professional photographers with cameras around their necks were using them.
How dare
like,
you, Erika, as a
Jesus.
podcaster, come on
Yeah,
here and talk
video in
about
a
what happened. Talk about other people's trauma.
Yeah.
with an active shooter that they could have accidentally and quite literally filmed themselves being shot.
Yeah, and that's their business. That's
many
what
of those people
journalists
have
do.
become
Sometimes
so
they film their own deaths.
desensitized.
Yeah,
because they're in the
sometimes they're literally in war zones. Yeah.
Like, this has happened.
Fight or flight became secondary to the opportunity of putting themselves into the story, which ironically breaks the #1 rule of journalism.
What rule do you think that is?
Wait, this isn't reality TV cameramen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't like producers.
I'm
who
sorry,
can't interact. Like, no, journalists interact with like the people they're involved with in news
Absolutely.
stories in war zones and
Yes.
stuff all the time. That's like, they're human beings.
Yeah. Like, this is a nature
Actually,
documentary. when
I'm
you're not
hoping I
supposed
can
to
find
interact with the wild
something.
animals.
I'm hoping I can find
It's
something.
like TLC shows. Like, don't interact, just film. It's like,
Yeah.
no, that's not journalism.
Yeah, and also sometimes you should be calling the police or CPS on those fucking people. Jesus Christ.
Yes, thank you, please. You know, the whole network.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I can find this.
The rules of journalism.
Yeah. What
Rule
about the
number
rules?
1, don't be seen. Wait.
Yeah.
You're usually standing in front of the camera talking about the news.
Well, this is the thing. There was like this funny thing where one of the like Republican like right-wing influencers, and this is what I'm trying to find, literally took out her phone when the shooting went out and was just filming herself in her reaction. But this is one of the Republican like pro people. She's like, oh my God, they're shooting. I'm so scared right now. But it's the camera is just her fucking face, not what's happening.
Well, yeah,
And,
you can't
like
show the
somebody
actual
pointed
shooting
out.
or it'll get demonetized.
Yeah, yeah. Like, and they're like, yeah. Somebody pointed out, put this in the Louvre because this is like the perfect example of influencer culture versus actual journalism. This is the distillation of it right here. And then, of course, Erika Kirk trying to like, oh, they're making themselves part of the story. It's like they weren't the ones filming themselves. Like your girl there was, you know, like it's just, oh my God, the projection is the name of their game all the time. It's so crazy. Like they're constantly doing the thing where they're like, oh, I'm doing this and it makes me look bad. I have to say they're doing it first, and because then if they say anything against me, I get to say, oh, you what are you doing? No, you now. What are we in kindergarten? It's like, yeah, you just beat them to the punch on it because you were trying to get ahead of it. We can see through this.
Yeah,
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just insane. So yeah, like her trying to be intimidating.
I can't.
Yeah, there it is.
Let's talk about the latest attempt on President Trump's life. And while much of the media at the White House Correspondents' Dinner...
I like how that's an opinion. Erika Kirk Everything's so stupid.
Like that's the news.
Attempt in their stride. Some even helped themselves to bottles of alcohol on the way out of the.
Oh no! People were taking the undrank alcohol from the event.
That's in a hotel, by the way, where they all have hotel rooms.
Yeah. I'm
Like-
sorry. I'm taking the booze too. Fuck.
I was
this.
thinking about
absolutely.
half of them are just
Yeah.
taking it up to their hotel room. Like that's a totally normal thing to do after an event held in a hotel. Also, I do want to give Erika Kirk one thing. Some journalists are putting themselves in the story, like Jake Tapper, who's making it about the leftist
Jake Tapper
conspiracy
has been
theories
a
and his
shit-lib forever.
feelings.
Yeah. Jake Tapper is he's barely a liberal, right? He's one.
Oh,
of
he's
those
not a liberal at all.
He's
Oh
a
my God.
conservative. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And okay, this one's big.
Oh shit, yeah.
This
This
is
one,
a really big deal that
yeah.
I'm surprised I'm not seeing talked about more often. In fact,
Part of
I'm
it
gonna
is
have to
that not
pop out and pee for a second before I get into this. So
Okay.
I will be right.
Heel burp. So yeah, this is one of those issues where it's like I don't think that enough people are talking about this because not enough people understand it.
Yeah,
Which
I
I
agree.
think is understandable that they don't understand. Because there
I
are
call
so
him
many
fake Tapper, Sherry. Jake Yapper and fake Tapper, one and the same. Sorry. Continue now.
There's so many layers with global economics that are so intertwined and opaque, and so I can understand why people don't understand the nuances of stuff. So like for example, like the UAE shock exit from OPEC.
Mhm.
So apparently, and of course James just left the title on today. Can I see any of this? Can I read any of this?
I can.
Oh,
read
I
it,
just
but-
standoff between Gulf oil giants Saudi Arabia and the UAE could cause greater market volatility for years to come. So the conflict in the Middle East has claimed OPEC as the latest casualty of war. UAE's shock exit from the oil cartel on Tuesday after 60 years is expected to weaken the alliance, which under the leadership of Saudi Arabia has helped to soothe volatility in the global oil market for decades. Just briefly reading that.
Yeah.
So, as we were saying, like before the show, so now the UAE is out of OPEC and is going to be trading not in American dollars.
Yeah. As of tomorrow, they're officially stopping trading in American dollars. And as we've discussed on the show before, like back in Carney's speech at Davos and talking about how, the world is operated on this assumption and it's time we turn that assumption upside down, but he hasn't really lived up to any of that big bravado he talked at Davos at all. But one of the things we were emphasizing when we had like Sean on is that this, like this way of trading and buying and selling oil with American dollars, the petrodollar, is what sustains America's global hegemony and de facto global capitalism. It is the entire linchpin to the entire thing. So the like one of the world's largest oil exporters withdrawing itself from that system is huge. I know unprecedented gets a lot of gets thrown around a lot these days, but that
Why can't they start precedenting things?
Yeah. Like, so there's a lot of things that can happen as a result of this. It definitely weakens America's hegemony on the world stage and puts a crack in their the system that was sustaining them. But not only that. This was a cartel, and basically a cartel, and why they call it that is that it is a giant price fixing scheme. Like you said, it kept oil stable. So they're like, all these countries basically agreed, we are going to produce a certain amount of oil and export a certain amount and sell a certain amount in order to regulate the supply and the price, and as to not like overcompete with each other, not release too much oil on the market. We're going to protect our profits and protect our supply by doing this. And so what is going to happen next? Is there going to be a big price war? It's very hard to say what's going to happen. And yeah, I want to live in precedented times again. I mean, the thing is, when times were precedented, they were very bad because those very precedented times, like, say the stability that we felt like we had in the 90s and things like that, where all of this stuff was kind of working as it should, it led us here.
Well,
Also, it was
Sherry
so
and I-
bad for like a lot of different countries, a lot of
Exactly, it
different
was
groups of
bad for a lot
people.
of people that
I think the thing,
we didn't have to look at, right?
like the unprecedented times, it's like a lot of what's happening now has happened in history. The big differences are technological advancements and our news cycles. Like we all get the information, so
we get to see it more.
Yeah, we get to see the actual what's happening and not whatever the news is spinning it to
100%.
us as.
Yeah.
Well, I remember like Sherry and I went to high school in the 90s, and so I know Sherry remembers the Mike Harris years, and so those were bad years for high school. I mean, there was bad years for Ontario.
It was bad years for everybody. Like, I don't know anybody who was like, Mike Harris, woo.
And if they said Mike Harris, if anyone says Mike Harris, woo, it will be like on site. Like,
Like I just say, like, I was born in 91, so like my 90s, I was a child, but like my mom was like a single mom for a bit, and apolitical guys. Single mom in the 90s, apolitical.
I mean, like
never voted.
My mom has never been particularly politically engaged. She's like, just always been I would regard as a pretty regular Canadian liberal in a lot of ways. But she hated Mike Harris and had things to say. And she normally doesn't have a whole lot to say in regards to that.
My mom, apolitical, somehow still was able to miss that one. So
and I know my mom saw that I shared the link today. I don't think she ever watches my show. So, but if you are watching, Mom, I'm not making fun of you. I'm just saying.
We're actually saying you're better than my mom. You're like
compliment.
It's going to be very interesting to see how this goes. Because like we haven't, like, all of this just happened and technically is still happening. Like tomorrow is the deadline where United Arab Emirates is stopping their trading in the American dollar. Which again, like, just to reiterate to folks how much this global system of buying and selling oil in American dollars sustains America. That is the reason that America has trillions of dollars of debt, and they're able to forever expand it into infinity because their dollar is being used so much. It keeps its value high that potential like loaners and debtors can look at America and go, well, despite how much debt they have, they are going to be forever stable because everybody's trading in their dollar. Like it is a very secure, but it's also very fragile, as you can see, if people decide to pull away from it. And historically speaking, anybody who's tried to pull out of this system gets wrecked. Like what is it, Libya and Gaddafi? He was one of the big ones back in the day to try and say fuck you to this entire system.
Back in the 80s, we lived in Libya and had to leave in the middle of the night.
Yeah, exactly. And so normally anybody who tries to buck this American hegemonic system gets completely fucked over.
But they usually aren't as rich as the UAE.
Exactly. They're not. The UAE has a lot of security in their own right. America has already spread itself super thin because of what they're doing in Iran, and it's not working for them at all. And obviously UAE pulling out of this and trying to get out of this system is largely because of what America is doing in Iran and screwing up world trade with everything that's going on with the Strait of Hormuz and things like that.
And the thing is, the difference between the Iraq War and this is that with the Iraq War, it seemed largely like the American allied countries were on board. So like, Great Britain, Germany, Canada, correct me if I'm being ahistorical and remembering incorrectly. They're like, okay, yeah, WMDs, let's go get Iraq, right? Whereas this time, everyone's like, what? No, what the fuck? We're not doing that.
Yeah.
And this is after years of Trump being like,
yeah.
And a solid year of being like, right, of like blowing up any relations that they might have had left over from his first term are now exploded, except for maybe Israel.
So yeah,
Well, Israel's like the friend that's just using him. Like they're not like like they don't.
Well,
give a
that's
fuck
just
about
it.
Trump.
That's
They're
just
just
it.
like,
Like Israel does not give a shit about America. They're like it, their whole entire thing is just to take and take and take and get what they want to get, and it doesn't matter who they hurt in the process. And by de facto, America just follows along with them.
Well, America's that rich kid friend that doesn't know how to make real friends, so they either have to buy their friends or bully their friends. Like those are the only two options.
Yeah. And not to mention like the amount of like apparent like just blackmail Israeli interests pull on American politicians and people in positions of influence. If you I think I've mentioned John Kiriakou on this show before. He is the ex-CIA guy who blew the whistle on the torture program and went to jail for a while for that, and now he just spends his time being like kind of a journalist, author, and being and going on podcasts and just basically talking major shit about the CIA. But what it's so funny when you hear him talk about how much, even though it seems like or it is that the CIA or like that is America and Israel are in bed with each other, there's this undertow of the CIA and Mossad hate each other, and because Mossad constantly tries to aggressively spy on American interests, even though they're allies. They're like a belligerent ally, at least according to him. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the fallout is and what oil prices are going to look like as a result of this move. Now, like out of OPEC, UAE, I think, is the third in the list of the largest oil exporters, Saudi Arabia being number one. They have the largest oil reserves of that group. So they're the kind of the number one seller and producer. But being third and being responsible for, I think, like if I remember the stat properly, it was something like 8 to 11% of the world's global oil export comes out of UAE. So I mean, that's not a small amount. That is significant. That can put a ding in some things, and so if they go, well, we're going to produce as much oil as we want so we can sell as much as we want, is that going to spur those other countries to go, well, okay, I'm going to do the same thing, and then a bunch of oil gets dumped into the market all at once, which when you have an increased supply in accordance to whatever the demand is at the time, increasing the supply makes prices go down. That's how market economics work, right? So is it going to crash oil prices? Is it going to somehow make them go up as a result of rising tensions? We'll see. But very interesting nonetheless, because
I'm waiting for like the nearby countries to start fighting, actually.
Well, yeah, like it's again, we're kind of in an unprecedented territory here, but like the idea of UAE pulling out of this thing and America doing what it typically does when other countries try and buck this system, are they going to go attack the UAE? like that seems bad.
I know. Saudi Arabia. I mean, who knows? Iran's all over the place. I feel like, and they'll want to hurt the U.S. any way they can. So
I mean, like, well, pretty much all they have to do right now is just hold on.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's
They're
not,
doing a
and,
good
it-
job at it,
and
too.
it's not that hard for them to do. I mean, Trump has already lost this war. He has thoroughly lost
yeah.
it.
He lost it by starting it.
And this
What's
and
the
this
game
happening, UAE pulling out of OPEC and pulling out of the petrodollar,
Mhm.
is a significant sign of how much Trump has lost as a result of trying to do whatever the fuck he's trying to do. So yeah, that's that kind of brings us to the hour. What a crazy week. Holy
Speed
shit.
run.
Yeah. I feel like we just did a speed run of the fucking news here
In the world this week. Yeah.
So next week we'll probably get into a little bit more of what this means, because we're going to be a few more days into
Yeah, we
what
might
this
start
might
to
look
see
like.
some consequences.
Yeah, we
or-
might actually start to see some fallout and consequences. And
Mhm.
so yeah, that's going to be interesting. Maybe we'll bring Sean back on to have his insights on
I
how
really want Sean to come on to talk about that stuff.
yeah.
That's above my pay
I
grade.
messaged you.
Yeah,
you know, like,
he knows how like the markets work, right? So we'll bring him back on if he's down. I also wanted to bring my buddy Galen on to talk about some things, because he was recently harassed again by Karima Desaad.
Mm. And just to clarify, this isn't Galen Weston, right?
No. Why am I forgetting Galen's last name at the moment?
It doesn't matter. Anyway,
But
not Weston.
no,
That's-
definitely not Weston. Because he goes by a pseudonym on Facebook, so I'm forgetting what his actual last name is at the moment.
Doesn't matter.
But not that it matters. Karima Desaad, who is just an absolute freaking menace, and I don't know how she isn't being sued into the ground or behind bars for her repeated harassment of just decent people. She's gone after Rachel Gilmore before, but Galen, being he is a active leftist activist, and very much in like the labor scene and supporting his union and things like that. And so yeah, he had a recent incident where they had him on camera and they were harassing him, and Karima posted the video with his name, trying to talk shit about him, all this stuff. So we might have him on to talk about that next week as well. But yeah, I don't know, man. This
Getting rough out there, guys.
the unprecedented times keep unprecedented, and we'll see what happens next week. Tune in. Technical difficulties today.
It's fine. We made it work.
Yeah. All right. So next Thursday, that is going to be May the 7th. And we will find out what the fallout is from the UAE. We'll find out more about this bullshit sovereign investment fund and whatever other bullshit is happening. And as always, folks, stay rough.